I have a great sense of privilege this morning in bringing to you some of our residents who will share their story of experience, strength, and hope with us. We are grateful for the 17 years that this church has given us to be planted here in this family of faith and to thrive in the presentation of a possible recovered life and restoration to about 1,700 different individuals. Some of them we have with us this morning. These are people who have put their hand to the plow and not looked back. In fact, the statement about going to say farewell to your family maybe if taken literally doesn't quite apply, but if taken figuratively in the sense that you can't bring your friends with you into this journey of following Jesus into a recovered and restored life, because many of your friends are drags on your recovery, and you have to start a new life and in a sense have a spiritual awakening and be born again. So we have some people to share their own perspective on that, and we'll begin with Denise.
My name is Denise, and I'm an addict. Okay, so today is actually, today I'm 21 months and 21 days clean. And I'm 35 years old, divorced, and I have this little one here, and I have an 11-year-old daughter. So I was raised in a very religious home, a Catholic home, and went to a Catholic school and very active in our church, and I was very religious and very spiritual. And
Speak a little bit louder, please, a little closer to the mic.
Sure. Sorry, can you guys hear me? Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. Keep breathing, right? That's what you need to do, right? Okay. So I had I guess what you'd say is a normal family life, and I did what was expected of me, and got married. I had a baby, and life just took a turn for me, and I couldn't cope. And I did what was socially acceptable. You know, had some drinks to cope with the day, and then drinking turned into something else, and it wasn't enough for me. And I didn't realize that I had a problem until it was too far gone and it was no longer a choice for me. What started out with alcohol turned into meth, and when coping with my divorce, I just lost myself. And in my addiction, I opted to use instead of take care of my daughter, and I sent her away with her father up in Washington, and I continued to use for a couple years and was in an abusive relationship and thought that this is what I deserved and this is what I subjected myself to and this is what it was okay. I just had to keep going, and that was the only way I kept going, was I kept using. And I was blessed by having one person still who hadn't turned their back on me, and when I was tired one day in Oregon in a broken down trailer, I reached out, and someone who was in a program and a friend of our family said it was okay. And God showed up for me that day through my friend. And she flew me out from a hangar airport in Medford, Oregon, took me in, and helped me get into a treatment program. September 9th, was my first day clean. I checked into a treatment facility, and I haven't looked back since then. And in the time that I've been working this program, I did what was suggested of me. I'm very thick-headed and stubborn and think that I know the way. And because of that, I've made some decisions that, are not, that have made things difficult, that, I'm going to do it my way, and that's just how it's going to be. And I made it more difficult than I needed to, but I still have endured and not picked up. I was blessed to get into the Washington House about a year ago, and it was the first time that I was self-sufficient. I got a job. I was able to pay my rent. They supported me in allowing me to have my daughter on visitations. So I get to fly her out here to see me. And there aren't a lot of sober livings that allow you to do that. And I'm extremely grateful. Now, I did get pregnant, and I had this little one. I did leave the house for a couple of months, but I was given the gift of another chance at staying within the community that I made a home for myself with. It's a strong group of women in recovery, and it was the first place that I called home, and I really didn't want to leave when I left, when I was still pregnant. But they opened up one of the houses in the back for me, and now I can live there still. And with my program that I'm doing, it's enabled me to be a better person, just like the house and the community have. And it strengthens my ability to be a better mom, and to be a better mom to my daughter, who I get to have, actually tomorrow she flies in, and a better mom for this little one. This is Liam, he's totally asleep. But every day is a gift that I in the past I took it for granted, but now I look forward to what I can accomplish in my life. And before, I didn't think I had a future, and I was just waiting to die. And today I see hope, and I have faith in myself, and I have, I am born again. I've seen value in myself, and a community that's behind me and strengthens me and makes me a better person, and now I can give that gift to other people too. So that's what I have. Thank you.
It's a well-behaved baby, isn't it? Raul.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Raul, and I am a grateful recovering addict. Good morning. Thank you. Hello. I started drinking when I was 12 years old. Started drinking and doing drugs and just doing everything wrong. Well, I found out later in life, 34 years later after that I had a disease called addiction. And because that disease is centered in my thinking, it took control of everything, how I walked, how I talked, how I did everything. And it turns out that I wanted everything here and now, and I wanted not just one, I wanted more and more and more. I could not stop. I thought I only had the disease of diabetes. Turns out I have the disease of diabetes and addiction. So I'm right now currently 21 months early in my recovery. I'm blessed and grateful to be part of the Jubilee homes. Because of the Jubilee homes, modest rent, the love and support that I get from Chris, from Dale, from Bill, it's a love and support that you feel like, if you know the story of footprints and Jesus is carrying you through the sand, that's the kind of love and support and guidance that I need early in my recovery to allow me to remain a productive citizen and help me back. It's just a matter of time before I'm fully back into society and back on my own 2 feet. I'm extremely grateful. I normally don't say that I'm grateful, but I say because Jesus Christ is my higher power, I say that I'm blessed. And blessings by far have been, it seems like I just have to, because of my faith, I just have to wake up in the morning. You know, God provides for me everything. It's words can't explain it, but I am a grateful, blessed, recovering addict. And I'm good at speaking at meetings and stuff, but once you come up and you see everybody's faces and you know that you're all looking at me, you just draw a blank. But because I'm clean and sober and I have the love and support and I get from the Jubilee homes, I'm able to be myself, that loving, caring guy, that that smile, that loving happiness you get from deep down inside. I'm able to be myself, and I miss myself. And in this life, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Once again, thank you for letting me be part of such a great organization. God bless you all. Thank you.
Donnie?
Hello, my name is Donnie, and I am an addict. I started off like a regular teenager, going to parties, house parties, and doing the do. But somehow, they're about 20, 21, 22, most of my friends started growing up and doing regular people stuff. And I have a disease of addiction. And so I couldn't stop and get a job and progress with my life. I continued using drugs. And I had some very fun times using, but there comes to a point to where you reach such a low bottom. I was given the gift of desperation. I ended up developing mental disorders because of it. My family stopped talking to me. Most of my family, I don't talk to a lot of my family anymore. All of a sudden there was a lot of serious consequences to my using, and I ended up hitting a very low bottom. I've been to mental institutions several times. I've been to jail. I've experienced a lot of the things that they warn you again that are going to happen. I've experienced it. And there finally came a day where I needed help and I didn't know what to do. So I called my sister, and she went with me to my first Narcotics Anonymous meeting. I had tried to commit suicide a couple months beforehand. I jumped in front of a 18-wheel big rig truck, and I got stitches on my arm, and my ribs were broken, and I was really, really, really just kind of at my wit's end. I didn't see any help or any way out of it. All I knew is that I was afflicted with this disease and that I didn't know what to do from there. So my sister takes me to my first meeting in Narcotics Anonymous, and I met people that were like me. I met people that had this disease as well, and they were somehow working together to get through it, and it gave me hope. And for the first time in 15 years, I could see past a couple months of my life. I could see that there was a life to be lived, and that I hadn't gone too far down the rabbit hole. So I kept coming back. I did some suggestions that they told me to do. I got a sponsor. After I got about 3 months clean, I was with some of the people at the El Nido house. They were having a picnic. And I think it was the first, the day commemorating the first AA meeting or something. It was something to that effect. Founders Day is what it was. And I went to this picnic, and I was still very, very broken. I probably didn't smell that great, but I went to this picnic, and Bill Doulos asked everybody to please stand up and say something about yourself that you're achieving in your life. And I heard people say, I'm becoming a better father. And I heard people say, I'm going to school. And I heard people say, I'm getting a car. And those were things that I just written off as never going to happen to me. And when I heard those things, it gave me more hope. So I got in contact with Fabian, the house manager. And I said, please, I need something like that in my life. I need something just to wake up for. It's been so long since I've woken up for anything, really. And so he put me on this waiting list, and he told me to call every other day. And when a bed opens up for me, that he would try to get me in. And I did. I called every other day for about 2-3 months because I'm a big guy and I can't really sleep on a top bunk. I can't climb up there. So I waited about 2-3 months until a bottom bunk was available for me, and I was able to get in, And I moved in, and he says, well, what are you going to do with yourself? He says, this is not permanent living. You have to have a goal, and you have to have a plan and an exit to get out of here, And I thought, what do I want to do with myself? And I said, you know what? I want to go to college. I've never been to college. I skated through high school. I've never gotten anything higher than a D. In high school, I've never gotten a grade higher than a D. And I said, yeah, I want to go to college. And he said that they'd be willing to work with me and get me, and as long as I stay in school and do what is asked of me, they're willing to support me. I remember when I first moved in, I didn't have an alarm clock, and I called Bill Doulos, and I said, Bill, I'm supposed to go to school, and I don't even have an alarm clock. Last time I woke up to an alarm clock was so many years ago, and he came down and he gave me an alarm clock. And he said, okay, let's get you going, And so now I'm going to school. I finished my first semester. I took 3 classes my first semester. I got 2 A's and a B. And yeah, thank you. I'm really excited about that. And I bought my first car I've had in 15 years. It's not a new car, don't get me wrong, but it's my car. It's got duct tape holding the bumper up, and I love it. I love it to death. And I didn't expect things like that to ever come my way ever again, because I was really at a low bottom, and I was really depressed about certain things. So I really thank you. And I thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you very much.
Well, I had forgotten about that alarm clock, but one thing I learned from these talks was the gift of desperation. I never thought of desperation as a gift, but it's a gift that some of us could have a little more of, because we're desperate for a new life. We're desperate for new friends. We're desperate for goals for our life. We're desperate for God's forgiveness, and that's a pretty healthy perspective and approach to the blessings that we share in this church community, in this parish, and in this country. In a few minutes, Polly is going to sing an anthem for us. Still I am your child. She wrote that, and she's going to bless us with it. And as she sings it during the offertory, I want you to think of Denise, Raul, and Donnie as symbolic of your children who are in Jubilee homes, and make the connection, because these are children are beloved by us, are nurtured by us, and through your support are raised to a new level of consciousness about the blessings of this life. And still I am your child is a good touchstone for us when we hit our bottom, to say, well, that's enough for me to become desperate again for the love and peace and grace of God. So thank you, Polly. Thank you, Denise and Raul and Donnie, for blessing us with your experience, strength, and hope this morning.